Horizontal form of representation, in which is also known as T form, under which the trading account is prepared in the format of ledger account, having two sides, that is debit side and credit side. Let us see the format of trading account. You can see there are four columns. The first and third column is the particular column, and the second and the fourth one is the amount column, where left side is the debit side and right side is the credit side. On the debit side, the first entry is of the opening stock, and we have to write the net purchases. That means purchase and minus purchase return if there is any, and all the direct expenses like wages and salary, direct expenses, carriage inward, carriage on purchase, duty on purchase, fuel, gas, freight charges, dock charges, excise duty. All such direct expenses has to be mentioned on the debit hand side. On the credit hand side, in the particular column, uh, two things has to be mentioned. That is, first is the sales, net sales, that means a sale minus sales return if any, and the closing stock. After writing all such things, we have to balance both the sides. If the credit side is more than the debit side, then we have a gross profit that is to be mentioned in the on the debit side. And if the debit side is greater than the credit side, then we have a gross loss which is to be mentioned on the credit side. After preparing the trading account, just below that, we have to prepare the profit and loss account. According to Aaron Carter, profit and loss account is an account into which all gains and losses are collected in order to ascertain the excess of gain over the losses or vice versa. So, in profit and loss account, again, it has the same format, and on the debit side, we used to mention all the expenses, all the indirect expenses to be mentioned on the debit hand side, and all the income is to be mentioned on the credit side. And we have to match this, we have to balance this, and after balancing, whatever, if there is excess or if there is a deficit, that will be termed as the gain or a net loss. For calculating the net profit, we can use this formula, where operating profit minus non-operating expenses plus non-operating income. By this, we can easily find out the net profit. Let us see the format of profit and loss account. Again, I have told you that it has four columns, just like the trading account. First and the third column is for the particulars, and the second and the fourth one is for the amount. Left side is the debit and the right side is the credit side. On the whatever gross profit or gross loss which we have calculated in trading account is to be carried forward or written down in profit and loss account by the name gross. If there is gross profit, then is to be mentioned on the credit side by the name by gross profit, by trading account gross profit. And if there is any loss in the trading account, then it is to be mentioned on the debit side by the name to trading account gross loss transferred. After writing this, we have to write all the expenses on the debit side, like salary and wages, rent, rates and wages, print and stationery, postage, telegram, lightning, insurance, premium, telephonic charges, legal charges, audit fees, traveling expenses, establishment expenses, trade expenses, general expenses, all kind of expenses, all indirect kind of expenses has to be mentioned, has to be written on the debit side, while all the income from various sources has to be written on the credit side. Like if we are receiving rent, any kind of discount which you have received, any commission received, or interest on investment which is received, sundry receipt, bad debts recovered, sale of scrap, interest on drawings, or All these are the incomes which is to be written over here. Now we have to balance both the debit and credit hand side. If the credit side is greater than the debit side, that means we have more income than the expenditure, so we going to get net profit, which is to be written in the debit side. And if the expenses are greater than the income, then it is to be written as a net loss on the credit hand side.